Hey there, how you doing? My name's Andy Whitehead. I'm from Recruitment Market International. Hey there, and welcome to Accelerator Week 1, Module 2, the evolution of recruitment and search, and why 360 recruitment is not a business. So, here's what we're going to cover right now. Number 1, the big 3 reasons why people hire a recruiter. Number 2, common misconceptions about recruitment search. Number 3, recruitment search service delivery models. Number 4, the old evolutionary stages of a recruiter. Number 5, the 3 phases of successful recruitment search. Number 6, the laptop recruiter model, how it matured into this as it is right now. Number 7, one to many plus remote plus the 3 pillars equals recruitment search success. And number 8, the maturing of recruitment search. So let's jump in. So the big 3 reasons why people hire a recruiter. So let's get back to basic fundamentals first of all. They've got the inability to get candidates with speed, with quality, and with certainty. So without these fundamentals, they're looking to find that partner, find that company to provide that service of speed, of quality, of certainty. So in some markets, speed would be a bigger driver. For example, in the temp space, the interim management space. Others, it may be a bigger focus on quality. So when you go through the client attainment system, you'll dig deep into what the client needs and how to overcome all objections before you even speak to a client. So we've got other recruitment search businesses. We've got our own internal recruitment function. We've got HR. We've got a preferred suppliers list. How you overcome all of those is covered in the CAS. Next, they do not know what they do not know about the recruitment search process. So depending on who your client is, you may be dealing with a small business, you may be dealing with a big corporate, but they probably don't know the tools, the strategies that are at their fingertips. So virtually everybody who's gone through the inner circle, as it was, in days gone by, with one of the processes of mapping the market, then into the client attainment system, then into automation. Why don't I think about this? This is so obvious. Now, my background is not from recruitment. I'm very open about that. I was in the investment banking world and then the media world. Then came into recruitment just over a decade ago. So when I came in, I was like, wow, this is pretty archaic, the way it's being run. So when I then went into the bigger companies, in my earlier days, I'd go on site into recruitment agencies and actually set up automation, set up workflows, templates, etc. for their team. Then also I consult with larger corporates. So in some cases, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 20 billion plus pounds companies. So what I saw in the small businesses and what I saw in the huge corporates was they really don't know much. So when you've got the strategies you're about to go through inside Accelerator, Build and Scale, conversion actually becomes easier as well, depending on what level you're at, because they won't know what they don't know. And next, they want a proven system, a mapper expertise and somebody who's done it. So their biggest constraint is going to be they haven't got the time, they haven't got the resource, they haven't got the skills, they haven't got the systems, etc. So in your marketplace, just remember your client is actually looking for probably one partner. They do not want to be inundated with 12 agencies giving them a whole stack of CVs. They don't want to be interviewing different agencies. They don't want to go through that assessment process. They would like one partner for all the roles. So that business would like one partner for all the roles. Whether it be a business owner, it'd be a department head, whether it be a £100 billion corporate, or whether it be a small SME. So remember that. They want less headache and more certainty. So next, common misconceptions about recruitment and search. First is this: recruitment search is too complicated. So recruitment and search is really the following. Number 1, we bring in a role, a lead, we bring in a role. Number 2, we convert that client. So we get T&C signed, we get the role across the line. And number 3, we deliver the candidate. That's it. Now you may say, well, I'm in a candidate-driven marketplace, so the candidate comes first. Fine, candidate step 1 then. But we complicate it. And we get lost in this business ownership world of being into 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 different niches. Then a role comes in and we drop what we're doing, or a good candidate comes in and we drop the client processes. We're trying to get new roles in. So it's become too complicated. Next, the big biller approach is the proven model. Now, if you are a business owner and you've got a track record of being the big biller in your previous employer, and now you've set up your own business, kudos to you. When you're looking to sell your business, most businesses nowadays which are sold, they're not looking for a business that's sold by a big biller mentality. They want a business that has a process. So leads, conversion, delivery. So it becomes something you can replicate. So the proven model of the big biller is starting to become outdated. Now, don't get me wrong, if you've got a big biller and you've also got a pretty much never-ending flow of inbound leads or inbound candidates, then his role becomes a lot easier. So you can focus on the real high-level ROI activities and tasks. So the big biller approach, it's not the proven model anymore. Next, 360. So the 360 model is the way forward. Now, that's been the model for a long time. That's been the model for a long time. And I understand why. If we think about what we're now doing and what we used to do. So with the 360 model, it may have been in, let's say for example, so I worked in the city in London, so an investment banking area, near Bank, and then in Docklands, Canary Wharf. So if I think about a big biller or a 360 recruiter in that place, part of the strategy would be going out, meeting clients, meeting candidates, all within a square mile or two. And it's very much an offline process. So in those days, that mechanism of, right, I'm dealing with investment banks and I'm dealing with Java developers, you could run that 360 model in that discrete manner. Now, nowadays, if we now switch into an online model, whereby, for example, we want those 2,000 Java developers now in an online database, and we want those 1,000 clients in an online database, and now we want to have an authority strategy online. We want to have an automation strategy whereby we're in front of those clients and candidates every day, online. If you think about that mechanism will not be run by the 360 recruiter, it'll be run by a VA. So say you've got 5 desks. That same set of strategies will be rolled out across desk 1, desk 2, desk 3, desk 4, desk 5. And the recruiter will then have more inbound leads and more matching candidates at the right time, which is a win. However, the strategy that's really making this happen is the strategies you're about to learn. So with 360 recruitment now, i.e. we're getting the clients and we're getting the candidates in, what you'll find is 2 things to be aware of as a business owner. Number 1 is if you've got a team member and they become aware of the strategies that you're using. I've had business owners who've not been maybe future pacing about what might happen. The individual will then take these strategies and they'll then go and set up a loan and do the same thing, but get the full fee. So they then use the same strategies and get the inbound client and the inbound candidate. So if you're a business owner and you're looking to scale from, say, doing 500,000 to 2 million, and you've got 3 recruiters as things stand, the mechanism really should be VA stroke A another. We'll roll out, bringing the clients in, bring the candidates in, and a recruitment professional will then convert and close. As opposed to the individual will do all of the onboarding for both clients and candidates, because the world has now changed. We're now in an online world, so the structure of the business now is changing. If you're a recruitment business owner and it's just you, and it's a 360 model, you'll reach a ceiling. Now, depending on what that ceiling is, A number tends to be around 250, 300 for that one person business, and they're doing both clients and doing candidates, and they will hit a ceiling. Because while you're in client getting mode, you're not in candidate getting mode, and vice versa. So what happens is we reach this ceiling. So 360 has a purpose, but the model's now changed. And the businesses that grow, so I mean go from say 200k to $1 million, they grow because a VA will bring the leads in, an account manager will close. The VA will bring the candidates in, a resourcer will then screen and match them to the role. So next, more people is a bigger business, the way to go forward. So one of the things that I've seen over the years, time and time again, what's your goal? I want to have 10 recruiters, I want to have 10 desks. No, you don't. What's your goal? And when you break it down, you realise that the goal is actually they want to have a dividend of 750k, and then within 3 years they want to be working 20 hours a week, or whatever their model is. It's always a financial number one, and then it becomes the model. But more people equals a bigger business. Again, the world has changed. So if a VA can bring on board, say 20,000 clients and 10,000 candidates, or the other way around, depending on what the niche is, and then we can run an automation process. Yes, you need to be involved in this, but the old model of multiple desks starts to change. It starts to change. So it certainly does end with what's the financial you're looking to achieve, because there's always a quicker route to get there, I find. Next, common misconception, exchange time for money. So this, we work hard to earn X. Now, we want to be working hard. I remember when Darren Franks joined us, and I did the strategy session with Darren. And Darren and I were on the strategy session. Essentially, it's for me to make sure Darren's a fit. Let's make sure it's a mutual fit for Darren as well. And on this call, Darren and I were butting heads, and I was about to not invite him into the group. But what Darren was doing, we're really tight now. What Darren was doing, Darren knows his stuff. He came to us as an advanced recruitment search specialist already, vast experience. And he was just making sure that I knew my stuff. And I remember speaking to Darren, so he came on board, went through an audit, created his launch plan. I remember saying to Darren, he was doing 80 hours a week at the time, so Darren, I can give you 40 hours straight away. And he said, his words were, if you give me 40 hours, I'm going to use those because I want to do big things. So exchanging time for money, that's on you, but it's but the old model, you'll start to see 80% of what you've been doing is not actually directly relevant to what you're actually getting paid. Now next, recruitment search delivery models. So we've got the 360 recruitment search model. We've got the hiring the big billers. We've got, hey, let's automate everything. I've been following you, Andy, for 8 years, and you're the automation people. Outsource everything, get everything outsourced. So I just want to cover a few things off here. Number one, 360. We've touched on that so far. So if you're the sole business owner, you'll still be doing clients and candidates, but that will start to change. Hiring big billers. Now you want to have, the best people, of course you do. But if you also think about this, imagine that you're in the rec-to-rec industry and you're using these strategies and you're looking to get a rec-to-rec to come on board, and your advert is all the leads will be inbound, all the leads will be in your inbox, all the leads will be qualified, as opposed to what most rec-to-rec do, which is picking up the phone and going through pain, getting a whole stack of rejection. Which role would you take? So with the hiring of big billers, you want the best individuals, but also lots of our members will hire a commission-only recruiter. So the business owner's role will change into ensuring they get the best leads in, and a lot of leads in, and get the matching candidates at the same time. So they manage their VA and they manage the project manager. And then because they've got so many leads, they hand them over to a commission-only recruiter who essentially closes them. And that person might get 40, 50%. You're thinking, what? But imagine if your job is to 10x the leads coming in, and you get half of everything that's converting. So that means your business is 5x'd by you becoming a project manager around the automation side of things. So automating everything, it's not everything, it's one thing at a time. So it'd be campaigns and it'd be nurturing, etc. And outsourcing everything. There's a time and a place for this as well. Most members will have a VA build their data sets for them, i.e. build up the talent pools and the client pools. They'll have a VA manage their LinkedIn. That's your decision. They'll have a VA maybe deal with their inbox. And that'll be the key things they do to start with. But know this as well. VAs are not superhuman. A VA can't build your website and deal with your inbox and design marketing materials. VAs are best used, and we cover this in detail in later modules, absolute detail, are best used for tasks that are repetitive over and over again. So the best delivery model is going to be a bit of automation, a bit of outsourcing. You're probably doing a bit of 360 to start with, and you do want to hire the best people. Next, so the old evolutionary stages of a recruiter. Now, where you are now may be where you want to stay. So it might be, when I left the corporate world, I had an office. In fact, I had 2 offices in Liverpool. And then I said, screw this, I'm not doing this again. And that's when I started living from my laptop. And at one point I was working 15 minutes a day, and it was fabulous. And of course you get married and you have kids and the world changes, and you've got to change your model appropriately around that. So my outcome was a lifestyle outcome to start with. But then things develop. Now your outcome might be, right, I want to keep the management down. I don't like dealing with people. You become an HR manager. Now, if that's your goal, fabulous. But really what you should do is you should start with, what's my actual 3-year plan here? In 3 years, I want to be doing 2 million per year. In 3 years, I want to sell the business. Then what's your 1-year goal? 90 days, 30 days, etc. So depending on where you are, you may look to build your business. And building your business means your role will change. Say 0 to 250, 250 to 1 million, 1 million to 3 million. The roles are completely different at each point. So the sole proprietor, this is the one person operator. Essentially, you've got a job. You're a business owner, but it's a job. Then we're 1 to 5 people. And at this stage, we have lots of people come to us, and this is where we want to grow, but they've actually plateaued. They've hit the ceiling, and they keep, up and down. Feast and famine, as one of our members said years ago. Feast and famine. Good month, bad month. Then we get into sort of hope phase. Then we've got these businesses which are size 5 to 10. And often the business owner, they won't say it when we speak to them. We've got an ego, I guess, as such, which we've all got. But eventually it comes out, it's a complete headache, and they hate the business. Why did I start this? I'm actually, I'm speaking to somebody about 6 months ago. And this gentleman, again, as I just mentioned there, this gentleman was pretty protective about sharing the detail. I said, listen, it's probably best we pause this call right now, because if we're not going to be transparent with each other, then, I don't know where you are right now. I don't know where you want to get to. In the middle is a how, there's a big gap. But I don't know where you are right now. And essentially what was happening was this guy was working 80 hours per week, and he had relatively good revenue. But actually when it broke down to what he's bringing in personally, it was, I can't remember the exact number, something like 60, 70,000. Now that sounds okay, but he had a business which was bringing in, over 1 million, and it was a complete headache, and it was a complete mess. So you might be in that position. Then we've got the business above it. So we've got the 10, 50 people. So this is painful and hard work. I'm dealing with relationships all day. So, we've had companies coming at this size, and what they will do is they will have 3 memberships, and they will start on 3 desks. So they will start strategies on 3 desks. And then what they'll do is, we'll work with them that year, and that 2 years, that 3 years. Then bit by bit, they'll roll it out across the other desks. So invariably what you'll find is that size company, we had a company that joined us doing, if you go to Model Success in Scale, you'll find this session. And this company was doing, I think, 12, 13 million pounds, but actually making no profit. And the company was 35 people strong, 7 branches, I believe, memory serves. And the business owner was tired of driving up and down the motorways. And within that first year, they'd gone from 7 branches down to 2, and 35 staff down to 7. And the owner's words precisely were, the most important person in my business is my VA, my virtual assistant, i.e. the virtual assistant who's building the data and the leads and the matching candidates. So I'm not saying that is the right model to do, to cut down that hugely, but again, often we don't know what we don't know. So there are different phases. Now the 3 phases of a successful recruitment search business. Now, if you look at this model, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. So it's making this really simple at this point. So phase 1, we bring leads in. So we bring in inbound client leads and we bring in qualified candidates and they match. So leads in this area and matching candidates for that role, that area. Phase 1. Phase 2, we convert the client, we convert the candidate. Phase 3, we deliver the candidate, they get past the guarantee period, we repeat the process, we want to move into getting fully retained business that we'll come to later. So if you break your business down into this understanding and just try and simplify in your mind to start with, right, how do I bring in client leads? How do I bring in candidates? How do I convert clients? How do I convert candidates? How do I deliver the candidates so they're on site day 1, month 3, etc.? What's the process there? So if you think about your business in that way, then underneath it, there'll be another set of steps that we'll come to bit by bit. But if you start to compartmentalize your business, this is recruitment search. This is it. So you have metrics of phase 1, metrics of phase 2, metrics of phase 3. So phase 2 might be, for example, I've got 21 appointments booked with clients, 17 the clients turned up, I closed 7 out of 17. Then underneath that, there'll be another set of metrics, for example, around reminders for the appointment, and another set of metrics. Everything will break down to, again, how long was the call? Did you use the module on closing? But everything breaks down to these fundamentals. And when you do, you'll see that there's probably going to be 3, 4, 5 metrics under each part here you need to focus on. And we start to simplify this process. Now, underneath each of these, there's only 2 ways to grow your business, every part of your business. So number 1 is you increase the volume, so you increase the volume of leads, or you increase the conversion. So in simple terms, let's say that you've got a reply rate of 10%. The reply rate becomes 40%. So you 4x your leads coming in. So every step, you increase the volume, you increase conversion. So let's say that you've put through 100 leads and you got 10 replies. Put through 1,000, you get 100. So when we start thinking in this way, it becomes really clear about, right, what do we need to do? We either increase the volume of this. So let's say, for example, we are converting clients and we've had 10 appointments and we've closed 1. Should we increase the volume and now increase the leads coming in so we get 30 next month? No, because it's not converting. We need to increase the conversion. We need to focus on increasing the conversion. But there are only 2 ways to grow your business at every part. Increase the volume, increase conversion. And when you pause and deep breath and go, right, and then we get analytical about, right, there are 500 clients in this sub area, or there's 700 candidates. I've put through 70. If I now put 10x that, what's the number going to be? You start to build its predictability, and it will start to come together. Now, the laptop recruiter model, it's now matured into this. So over the years, we, depending on how long you've been following us, you've seen various models over the years. So we've got different phases. We've got accelerate, we've got build, and we've got scale. So in accelerate, we want to get candidates, we want to get leads, we want to start to build some base authority. With build, we want to be adding another layer of automation, we want to be dominating our niche, and want to have an automated nurturing process in place. So what that means is this: around 85%, depending on your niche, 85% of your clients are not hiring right now, but they will be in the next year. So we want to automate that follow-up and nurturing. We want to be automated. Now with scale, we want mass conversion. We want to monopolize that niche. We want to leverage our assets. So at this point, it's very much about changing our model. So accelerate, it's about getting traction, get into, let's get leads now, let's get conversion opportunities now. Build is about now, we're really actually starting to build a business now into a real business, and that consists of accelerate and build. But now we're really leveraging true automation. We're now starting to really think about, right, I'm a real business here. I want to make sure that I'm in front of these clients for the next year, but I'm not going to be doing it. Same with candidates, because those candidates will be moving. Those clients will be hiring. And with scale, it's now about monopolizing that niche and actually crushing that niche altogether. So it comes together. Now, if you don't have the accelerator piece in place, so let's say, for example, you jump straight to build. If you don't have the accelerator piece in place, what you want to have is some of the base campaigns. So it could be double R, it could be LinkedIn. So if you add let's say for example, you run double R, and you run LinkedIn campaigns inside Accelerator. And then you add a component from Build. You keep running those campaigns from Accelerator, but then you add an authority strategy, a niche domination strategy on top of it. So you run in LinkedIn, double R, and you run an authority strategy. And let's say you're in scale. You'd run those three, and you add another one on top of it. So you add a mass conversion strategy. So it could be a automated webinar strategy. So the strategies build on each other. You don't stop one and start another one, they build. So although there's hundreds of different strategies, what you'll find is it's a case of building one step at a time. And that's where you become this bulletproof business. Now, this model, one-to-many, remote, and 3 pillars. So one of the big components I've been driving now for, it feels like an eternity in recruitment, in search, is one-to-many. So you have a one-to-one conversation, or you have a one-to-one screening process, but you're going to do the same thing 100 times, 1,000 times, 10,000 times, who knows what. So we want to turn that into a one-to-one, into a one-to-many. Now there will still be occasions whereby you have to have that one-to-one conversation, of course you have, but probably 89% of what you do could be a one-to-many approach, which is where scale starts to come from. Next, working remotely. Now, is this being forced on a lot of people? Now, we've been doing this in recruitment now for a decade. Now, working remote, you may still have an office, and that's completely cool. However, if you understand the remote way of working, so things are systemized, they become predictable, you've actually now got a stronger business in your office. Next, automation. So automation, there are 4 key fundamental types of automation. However, as you work through Accelerator, as you work through Build and work through Scale, you're going to add different components as you move into each level. And the key thing of automation is, know this, automation is going to speed up success or speed up failure. So if you don't do the base, for example, fundamentals of looking at a template, tweaking it to fit your avatar, i.e. fit your client, that extra half an hour could actually equate to 60, 70, 80% conversion. If that goes out to 1,000 people, that could be hundreds and hundreds of leads. Now again, these are the 3 pillars we've got. Leads, conversion, delivery. It's that simple, and really start to get into your psyche now. So with that, we build systems, and with that, we now get success. So it's about breaking these fundamentals down into, and over again, getting leads, conversion, delivery. Now, the market itself has matured and is maturing. So these misconceptions about growing a recruitment search business, and you're here for a reason. Now you might be forced into it. It might be that now you've always known you need to do it and now's the time, but still lots of people think these things cannot be done online, or we need more personal interaction upstream. So we, Brant, fantastic member, Brant Hadley. So Brant deals with middle market, C-suite. So board members in the USA of the highest degree. I remember Brant saying, well, this won't work in my niche. He put it inside the Facebook group. If you go and search Brant's name in the Facebook group, you'll see various posts. You'll also see a post of Brant saying, I just bought a Mercedes for my wife today. That type of thing. Really cool messages in there. So Brant said, this is not going to work in my niche. And about 2 months later, he said, hands up, I got it wrong. So you'll be surprised what works. You'd be really surprised. Now remember this, recruiters solve problems. Recruiters solve problems, and they want to see a transformation in your client. They want to see a transformation. They want to see, we've got this problem, now we've got the candidate. So with the client, but also with the candidate. Your candidate may now have an internal concern around where they're moving to due to COVID, due to restrictions. So what's the transformation that they need? What's their before and after? What's their problem solution? And we'll cover that in detail. But once you really get your client's problems and your candidate's problems, then you've got gold. Now, the most important lesson you'll ever learn in business, and definitely recruitment research, is you're only going to sell what the market wants, what they need. So what does the client want? What does the client want? So with a client attainment system, what we do is we overcome all the objections, as I said, of other recruitment businesses. We've got internal recruitment, we've got a PSL. We overcome all those objections. So with that, we overcome all those objections. If you went to the client and said, hey, we've got this automation, they aren't going to care two hoots. If you go to the client and say, Mr. Client, we see you've got a job advertised for a Java developer with ABC skills. There are 756 of those in the entire market. We've got 742 inside our ecosystem. We get a response rate of 94% within 24 hours, meaning when you get the top 6 from us, you get the top 6 from the top 97.8%, as opposed to other recruitment businesses who generally have a reach of 6%, whatever it might be. So we want to make sure that we're focusing on their need. The same for candidates. Now, the different models that we've discussed, these are changing all the time with the onset of technology. But the base principles, they still apply. They still apply. So don't become a shiny object follower. Don't get inside Accelerator, move through to build, into scale, and then something shiny pops up, and then you go off point. No. So I'm creating a new strategy virtually every single week. Now, depending on what program you're in, you may get access to all of these or just a few of these. But I'm always ahead of the curve of these things. So don't fall for shiny object. The base principles always apply. Now, if you think about what we've got in play here, what we've got in play, we used to say that we need X amount of recruiters in our business, i.e. bums on seats or desks. Those days have gone. We used to say we need to have X amount of appointments or make X amount of calls. Those days are gone. We'll go in. So think about the stage of where you're at now and be aware of, am I still a dinosaur? Am I going to be, do I need to shake this off? Or are you open to this? Because you're going to be your biggest obstacle. Now, what do you need right now? Clients or candidates? Well, I need clients. I need candidates. I need both. Now, usually you're wrong because we're thinking about just the now. It might be you've got a pipeline in front of you. Let's get them closed off. But we can't do it with true automation or true strategies because you haven't got the data built. You've only got what you've got in front of you right now. So what do you need right now? Clients or candidates? You want to start getting to a methodical way of thinking. Right, next 90 days, we want to bring in 200K's worth of billing. That equates to 10 placements. We're currently converting 1 in 3. So that means you need 30 appointments. Now, of course, it might not all fit in that window, but you see how we're thinking. Now, with the candidate side, those roles, you want to make sure you've got the candidate matching those roles. So what do you need right now? Before you say clients, candidates, step back. We're building a business here. We want to get paid now to take the monkey off your back. But also, we want to grow a business. Now, finally, these ways of thinking, we want to start to become predictable. So you can say, right, next quarter I've got 500K in my pipeline. I expect to close 350 of it. Next quarter I want to get 1 million in my pipeline. I expect to close 800 of it. Because then you'll be able to reverse engineer the steps and say, right, to make this happen, I need 1, 2, 3. And that'll be a handful of metrics. So we want to start working into a predictable way of thinking, a systematic way of thinking. Now, I've detailed remote because most of us will be working remote. But understand this, again, if you're in an office, by thinking this way, you're going to really streamline your systems and your way of operating. So with that said, here's a summary of what we've covered. The big 3 reasons why people hire a recruiter. Number 2, common misconceptions. Number 3, the different delivery models. Number 4, the different stages. Number 5, the 3 phases of successful recruitment search. Number 6, the laptop recruiter model. Number 7, the one-to-many, remote and 3 pillars. And number 8, how things are matured. Now, key statement, there is beauty in simplicity. Can't stress that enough. Now, I'm my biggest problem. I get in my way more than I should do, and it's an internal battle all the time. And that comes down to my particular personality. But there is beauty in simplicity. And I can't stress this enough. You don't need to be doing a dozen things. It's a handful of things, repeating them and getting a metric that works. And when you get that, you're going to start to understand the results will come and you'll start to get it. But if you're someone like me, you're still going to want things to be perfect and it'll be an ongoing battle. So be aware about your own personality. And again, set your mind on a definite goal and observe how quickly the world stands aside to let you pass.